pitch. Swing and a miss. Struck him out. The Philadelphia Phillies are 2008 World Champions of Baseball. Brad Lynch does it again and stays perfect for the 2008 season. 48 for 48 in save opportunities, and let the city celebrate.
Aloha and hello out there, everybody. What's going on? This is Miho with the Too Close to Call podcast, joined as always with my co-host Pags, and this is the Phillies Phanatics podcast coming to you for the first time in about 10 days. And oh man, Pags, I don't know how to do it, but I somehow have to come up with an opening that is not as energetic because these Phils, man, are just pissing me off and playing some crappy baseball.
Crappy baseball is the exact opening you should open up with because they stink.
Trying to watch my potty mouth here, and it's been a little bit difficult when talking about the Phillies.
Well, let's jump into it. The first series, the last time we came together, we got swept by the Nationals. We go, hey, we got the Marlins coming into town, the worst team in baseball. We should get at least 2 or 3 from here. Well, not so much.
Seriously, dude, we gave a little bit of a pep talk, saying we're coming home. We got a crappy team coming to town. This is what we're going to do, and swept by the Marlins, dude. And I can't figure this team out. One time it's pitching, one time it's hitting. It's just everybody cannot put it together at once. They lose 2-1, 3-5, and 6-4. In 3 games, you're scoring 8 runs against the Miami Marlins, dude. It was like Nolan Ryan was pitching out there, man. It's unbelievable how good Phillies hitters can make opposing pitchers look sometimes. It was just frustrating beyond all hell.
Yeah, and it finally capsized into the fact that Gabe Kapler finally lost his shit and got tossed. So it's like, nice to see that.
Oh, man, I even forgot about that. I'm glad you brought this up. He got tossed twice, Pags. Did you see either of these?
Yeah, he kicked the dirt on the shoes. That was great.
Oh, my goodness. But what I love is Gabe Kapler gets tossed twice, right? And he got tossed on literally the only 2 plays that you can't challenge. It took him 2 years to find the only way he was ever going to get thrown out, because the one was a check swing strike 3 where they called it a swing and Gabe didn't agree and basically came out and was just like, you need to let me challenge. And the umpires were like, you can't challenge. And he's like, well, that makes me angry. Nah. Like, dude, it literally took the one play. You're getting your ass kicked by 3 days for the Marlins. We get nothing out of Gabe Kapler. And the gods give him a lightning bolt and say, here's one of 2 scenarios where you can literally get tossed. And one of them happens. So that was the first one. The second one, Pags. Oh, God, this one was even better. So back-to-back home runs by the Phils. This is in the Mets series now when they're actually winning some games. Back-to-back home runs by the Phils. The 82-year-old pitching coach for the Mets trots out and basically says, hey, you better fucking drill this guy. But you can't do it on the first pitch, so it doesn't look like I came out here to tell you. Third pitch of the at-bat, plunks the guy, Kingery, up high, almost in the head. It was a little bit high. Okay, whatever. Tension. Joe West warns both benches. And apparently it's literally in the rule book that you cannot argue or protest or challenge any umpire warning. And if you come out of the dugout, you get tossed. So Gabe didn't even say anything, didn't even yell, wasn't even cool, literally just came out and was like, why the hell did we get warned? We didn't do anything. And Joe was like, dude, if you say another thing, I have to run you. And he's like, no, tell me why we got warned. Bang, see ya. And I'm like, oh my God, Gabe, you didn't even yell at like a cool reason. You didn't run out to second base to yell at the umpire. You literally jumped out of the top step and he banged you because you picked the one time you can't do it. I'm like, you can't even get thrown out like a badass. Oh my God. It was the worst, dude. He found 2 soft reasons to get tossed, and thank God he kicked the dirt, because I was like, this guy's unbelievable.
Yeah, you got to take the good and the bad with Gabe there. At least he did something. I understand that they were the 2 loopholes that automatically get you tossed, but at least the guy fucking is showing some emotion.
Well, that was the bigger picture, was that after losing 3 to the Marlins, he's lost the locker room, the team's no longer playing for him, and then the Mets series comes where the entire fan base does a 180. Hey, we swept the Mets, we're back, we got come from behind wins, baby, they're fighting for Gabe, they haven't done this in 2 years. Well, hey, apparently myself being a pessimist, I'm a glass half empty kind of guy, I'm looking at this going, do you guys realize that we were losing by multiple runs in each one of these games in like the 5th inning or so to the biggest dumpster fire in Major League Baseball? We're like 4 or 5 pitches away from getting swept by the Mets and not sweeping. And I think those next 2 games in Miami smacked everybody back in the face going, oh, yeah, it was the Mets. They were that bad. We're not good. They're just that bad, man. Damn, you fooled us again. It's, this goddamn team, Pags.
Yeah, this team is very frustrating. At least we saw some runs being produced in the Mets series and in the Marlins series. I mean, Saturday, you're up 6-1. You shouldn't lose that freaking game.
8 straight runs in the bullpen, man. Based on the conversation we had the last episode where we broke down kind of the 3 pillars of who is to blame here for this team, and somebody needs to take the blame. As I watch these games more and more, dude, I am less impressed with Matt Klentak in the front office because he made all these moves to improve the lineup. Yes, okay, they've been good, they've improved for sure, but he did absolutely nothing to the starting pitching staff. The bullpen, I guess you signed Robertson. Okay, but can we come to the conclusion that Vince Velasquez is not a major league pitcher, Pags?
Yes, I am done with Vinny Velo. I am done with Vinny. Vinny, you can go play somewhere else. I'm done with you.
So, okay, we did nothing there. We were counting on him. The Nick Pivetta hype train was going so goddamn fast it was nearly flying off the tracks. Well, it did fly off the tracks right into the gutter because that guy's the same shit, different year. So there's another guy. I'm going to put the bullet in myself here and say my prediction of Jake Arrieta bouncing back and having a solid year was bullshit. Oh, my God. That guy's been the most frustrating. He's 6 innings, 4 runs. That's what he is. You can't expect anything better. And if you do, it's foolish. It's absolutely foolish.
These guys that we relied on at the beginning of the year, and it comes back to Klentak, because you had to have seen, you know what you were trotting out this year, and you didn't make enough moves to bolster this team. And I know the injury bug hit us throughout this year, and yes, losing McCutchen was probably the most detrimental thing that could have happened to this team. But that doesn't fix your pitching, and your pitching is suspect. And even your ace going out there, you don't know what kind of game you're going to get from him. So, I don't know, man. It's coming to the point where if we have a bad series this coming week with the Braves, we could see ourselves as sellers at the trade deadline where we were talking about, are we going to get Bumgarner? Are we going to go for Greinke? What are we going to do here? It's frustrating.
Thank goodness the month of June is over because the Phillies went from 3.5 games up on June 1st to I think it's 5.5 games out right now of first place. And now they are right there for the second wild card, and that's what that wild card does to baseball. It keeps everybody in it. So ultimately, if you're 10 games out of the division but still 1 game out of the wild card, you're not a full-on seller because get to that game and see what happens. Just make the postseason. We've learned from other sports, it's a brand new ball game once you get there, and 1 game against somebody, who knows? Maybe, that pitcher doesn't have a good day and you win that game. But just to your point of looking at the pitching in the offseason and deciding that I'm not going to make any moves, whether they're out there or they're 1-year deals, and then the Dallas Keuchel edition comes to pass, it's just, I don't know what he's looking at, because you got to look at the depth and understand that I'm not going to get through the year with 5 starting pitchers. Nobody's ever gotten through the year with just 5 pitchers. And if your pitchers 6, 7, and 8 are Tom Eshelman, who you traded, and Drew Anderson and Cole Irvin, you're going to have problems. You can't stare at that roster and ultimately think we're going to be fine. And if you are, man, I don't know. This analytics bullshit of the Dartmouth guy up there in the GM booth, dude. Let's get that Bic lighter going underneath that office chair he's sitting on.
I can just feel the tension in your voice when you talk about this team, and I know it eats you alive because you are diehard watching every pitch, and this team is just, you just never know what you're going to get. I think that's the most frustrating thing. I mean, you look at the lineup, Michael Franco has an unbelievable series against the Mets, and then he kind of comes back to life against the Marlins. And I mean, Bryce Harper's been solid, but you didn't sign Bryce Harper to the amount of money to be a solid player for this team. You need him to be unbelievable out there, and he just hasn't been. So I think it really hit me hard when I looked at the All-Star ballot, and I see JT Realmuto is the only Philly on that roster, and it's just like, oh my God, man, how bad are we?
We talked about how we added 3 All-Stars from last year. Well, only one of them's made it again, and that's because mainly of his defense. The guy's only hitting 265 this year, and that's up. But over the last 15 games, it's back to 204. It's so frustrating, man. And Rhys Hoskins, I think I've come to decide that he's a 260 hitter in the bigs. I know he hit 280, 300 in the minors, but 2017, he had 259. Last year, 246. This year, 261. So for those guys waiting for Hoskins to, get hot and hit 400, I don't think it's going to happen. The home run numbers continue to come in bunches with 3 in his last 7 games here. So he's had a little bit of a hot streak there. But during that thing, he's only hitting $160. So everything he's hitting is going over the fence. It's the Bryce Harper syndrome, man. And I know he's made some adjustments mechanically that I've noticed. So I will give him credit that he is trying to make adjustments, and it is not just I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing because it's worked. But his continued evolution is going to be that balance of contact and power, because he really shortened up his stroke in the month of June, which led to him hitting 282, which he was nowhere near early in the year. But his power numbers dropped a little bit with only 6 homers in the month. So it's that balance of give us 260, 270 with 10 homers instead of 240 with 15 or 280 with 5. Like, come on, man. What are we doing?
Here's I'm looking at a Braves preview with the Phils right now, and this kind of symbolizes this batting lineup, because you look at the home run leader, batting average leader, runs batted in leader for each team, and you look at the Braves, and you got Freddie Freeman in all 3 of those aspects. You have a guy that is a solid hitter that does everything right at the plate. And then you look over at the Phillies, and you got Reese at the home run leader, Cesar at the average, Bryce Harper with the RBIs, and none of them are even close to anything that Freddie Freeman is doing. And it's just like, we don't have that guy on this roster that's like, yeah, he's going to do everything right every single day.
The Braves probably have Acuna Jr. in most of those lists, too. I saw he had another record of hitting 20 homers for under 25 years old or whatever the hell it was. It's crazy, man. They're certainly the leaders in the clubhouse when it comes to the future until we get any arms, because it seems like Atlanta just runs out guys who are mid to high 90s. Yeah, they're continuing to figure it out, but they got some good stuff. And then we're coming back with Drew Anderson and Cole Irvin and things like that. It's like, whoa, guys, what's going on here? So to transition from the past and the shitty aspect of Phillies baseball, we're going to go to the future where there's nothing but sunshine and rainbows, because this is a glass half full podcast, as always, Pags. And what moves are they going to make, man? We've heard rumors that San Francisco Giants scouts were at the recent Iron Pigs games, talking on the Will Smith-Madison Bumgarner trade. Do you think ultimately the Phils are still in a position to add somebody like that? Or what's your thoughts here as we are officially under a month from the one and only this year, the one and only trade deadline?
I think that's going to be the move. I think Bumgarner is eventually going to be a Philadelphia Philly.
Are you giving up prospects for that rental for a team that's 44-40?
Yes, because like you said, we are right there in the wild card. And it's not like we don't play the Braves very often. We got them a bunch of times down the stretch. So I think a lot of it is going to be based off of how this series goes this coming week.
Oh, so you're saying the whole year may be riding here in the next 72 hours?
I definitely think so. If you go and get swept, and I'm looking at the matchups, and I don't feel good about it, if it doesn't go well, which, let's just be honest here, it very well could not go well. It could see us being on the outside looking in, and maybe I heard Jason Stark on the radio today saying Michael Franco is probably going to get shipped out, and you could see Rendon as a third baseman for the Phillies next year. So Are they going to be looking for something for the future? Maybe. But right now, I'm all in on this season. I'm not giving up on them. We got Pavetta versus Keuchel on Tuesday night. You got Nola on Wednesday, so hopefully you get a win there against Bryce Wilson. And then Thursday, I'm going to chalk up as a loss because the Braves are throwing Mike Soroka, who is 9-1 with a 2.13 ERA, and our boy Vinny Vila is going out there on Thursday.
Unbelievable. That dude's nasty for Atlanta, man. It's disgusting.
So we'll see how it goes, man.
Hey, that's a good point, though. If they move Franco, it actually jogged my memory because on Friday night I was up at the Reading Phillies game to check out Mr. Alec Baum in person and Mickey Moniak to see what's going on there. And if they move Franco, dude, Baum's the next guy. He's continuing to swing a hot bat at Reading. He's hitting over 300 everywhere he's been already. It's been 3 stops, and he's kind of knocking on the door. Now, he's not on the 40-man roster, so they would have to demote somebody, but somebody like Sean Rodriguez, that's not going to be a problem if Baum ultimately is ready. But if they move him, and that's Kingery back to third, maybe a guy in center, keep him down. Next year, though, Alec Baum, starting third baseman of your Philadelphia Phillies. That's for damn sure.
Let's get it going. But I'm still in on this 2019 Phillies team, my man. Let's get it going.
Let's get it going and see if Pags will change his tune in 72 hours or so when we come back to you guys later this week with the next Philly Fanatics podcast. And oh boy, is it going to be a big one.
I could totally see them sweeping the Braves and then going and then losing 3 in a row to the Mets. It's just like, oh God, this team.
And we're in the All-Star break, like we have no idea what's going on.
Oh man, well, it's gonna be fun, guys. Continue to share us out there. We will get to you guys after this pivotal Brave series.
Yeah, and that's right. And call us on our new hotline, baby. We on the hotline. We got that 484-238-0735. Call us up with your Phil's takes. Let us know who's got to pick it up, how right or wrong we are. We'd love to hear from you. We want the interaction. Make this a little bit more kind of radio show style where you guys are calling in and we're discussing some things. So at Too Close to Call on the social media, 484-238-0735 on the hotline, and we'll talk to you guys soon.
Later, guys.
Peace.
The 0-2 pitch, swing and a miss, struck him out. The Philadelphia Phillies are 2008 World Champions of Baseball. Brad Lynch does it again and stays perfect for the 2008 season. 48 for 48 in save opportunities, and let the city celebrate.